All right, so now we're going to start learning about the three main database normal forms. So the definition of database normalization really consists of three main rules and then a couple others. The three common forms are first normal form, second normal form, and third normal form. And then beyond that, there are some additional forms such as voice cod and others that I'll consider advanced for this course, and they're not necessarily needed to learn what we need to do to start designing databases. So I want to keep it simple and not overwhelm you with all the details. I'll have some references to them so that you can see how they would apply for some advanced situations, but you will be able to get along quite well in the beginning to get started with third normal form. So one thing I think you should understand with the normal forms is they're progressive. They're like stair steps. So what that means is that a table that's in third normal form first had to satisfy the rules for being in second normal form. And as you may have guessed, a table in second normal form had to satisfy the tables that were also in first normal form. So let's build up a progression of the rules. So before we go into the various forms in detail, let's just summarize the forms. And I'm not going to go into a lot of explanation of what each rule means at this point. I just want to get the rules out there for you to see. I'll have a handout that summarizes the rules that you can refer to so that you'll have it handy for you to use. But really the main intent of this lesson is just to show you the rules overall, and then as we go through the course we will dig real deep into each one. So the first normal form is that information is stored in a relational table and that each column contains atomic values and they are not repeating groups of columns. So the only thing I'm going to really talk about here is atomic values, because you're probably wondering, what the heck does this have to do with chemistry? Well, nothing. That's what they mean by atomic values is that you can't split the value in two. So if you recall from Lou's pizza example, there were products that were in the spreadsheet, like we had pizza, comma, breadsticks, comma, salad. Well, that would be a non-atomic value. So we want to make sure that each column is just one little nugget of data. So second normal form is a table that's not only in first normal form, but all the columns depend on the primary key. So this is getting into that notion of, is the table about one topic? That's really what we're angling towards here, right? Because the primary keys can be about employee, so are all the columns in the table regarding employees, right? That's kind of the rule of thumb that we're going to use with this. And then lastly, with third normal form, it's that the table is not only in second normal form, but also that all the columns are not transitively dependent on the primary key. So this is going to be a little more complicated. The word transitively dependent is kind of strange, but what we're going to walk through this, and I think by the time we're done with this lesson, it'll be with the lesson on third normal form, that is, it'll be clear as to what we mean. So overall, do not worry about some of these complicated words or the fact that there's these three rules that you'll have to remember in what order do they apply, and do I have to apply things in the exact order. I don't want you to get hung up on what the rules mean at the moment. For now, it's just important to understand there are three rules for database normalization and that they build up on each other. And again, I once you start to use them and practice them, it's like riding a bike, really. And I say that for sure, because you'll find that as you start designing tables, you'll just get the knack of doing it. And when someone will ask you, well, explain normalization to me, you'll probably have a hard time reciting back all the rules and details, but you're doing it. And that's the important part, is that you're doing it, that you're actually using normalization. But if you went back and read the rules, you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. So let's don't worry for now. We'll learn normalization, and I'm going to teach you to do it the right way, and I'll see you in the next lesson.